edition of your Top Life television program, Morning Ride. It's time for our guest sports. And this morning, as we celebrate International Nurses Day, we have nurses right here to talk to us about the day, the theme, the significance, and what they have lined up to celebrate this event or to mark this day. So join me as I welcome Comrade Vito Wanu Patience Olivia. She is the State Financial Secretary, National Association of Nurses and Midwives. Good morning. Good to have you.
Thank you.
That's Comrade Nurse. All right, we also have Comrade Nurse Okonkwo Joy. She is the unit chairman, Okwi General Hospital. Good to have you. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. All right, so we are celebrating International Nurses Day. What are we looking at? Why the celebration?
Thank you very much. We are celebrating our International Nurses Day. Respect to our mother, the mother of modern nursing, Florence Nightingale. You know, today is her birthday, and that is why we are here today. We are celebrating her. And nationally, some of us are in Abuja for the flag off. You know, after that, we'll come back to the States to celebrate. And in celebrating the Nurses Week, we have so many activities lined up. We have our side conference, we have the road walk, we have going to the market to speak to the market women and thereabouts. So many things lined up just to celebrate us as nurses. And the theme for this program, this year's Nurses Week, is our nurses, our future, caring for the nurses strengthens economy, which means nurses needs to be supported. You support the nurses physically, mentally, emotionally. They'll be able to give or deliver optimal care to the patient. And when patients or generally people are healthy, they'll be able to produce, they'll be productive, and the economy will grow.
Okay. All right. So you just told me yours now,
Yes.
your opinion. So, Comrade Nurse Joy, let's hear from you when we talk about the International Nurses Day. What exactly are we looking at?
Good morning once again. Like my comrade have rightly said, it's a day that is set aside for the celebration of all nurses. It's normally carried out every year globally, and we look at our environment in Nigeria, nurses, our workforce, and how it improved the economic status, maybe through our head talk, through the preventive and curative system. We'll be able to impart a good and a speed healing to our patients. And when our patients are well taken care of, their medications, they take it as it ought to, and there is this healing. It will help the economy to grow when there is no more excess spending on your health, because like now we find out that the health to even access the health now is more expensive than the preventive. So we try as much as possible to give the health to it, so that there will be a preventive measure. It will not result to the extent of the patient coming down with different illness that will make them to spend more of their money or their hard-earned money that is not even there for them. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. So you said we have you gave us some lines or some rundown or a rundown rather of the activities. I want you to throw more light and to elaborate more on it, and how are we going to participate, or is it just meant for nurses? How will
Okay. By the special grace of God, in Delta State, we'll be celebrating our own in October.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
From
Why?
why in October? You know, from they went to Abuja, we do it globally. nationally in Abuja. Then after that, they will tell us to go to the states, various states, to go and celebrate. So from now till December, you are free to choose any period to celebrate your week. To
Okay.
celebrate your week. And so in the state, Delta State, we have chosen October to celebrate our own. Although FMC, Federal Medical Center, they will be celebrating theirs in June. They want to celebrate theirs in June. And during the celebration, there is going to be a scientific workshop where nurses will be trained. Nurses will be trained, and there's going to be an open ceremony where we can invite every other person, the public. We may even extend our hands to invite you guys so that you will come and learn during the keynote address. You will be able to talk about what International Nurses Week means, the nurses, our impact to the society. Then I actually talked about head talk, the road walk. The head talk, we plan going to the market to health educate our women about hygiene, about what they are expected to do to take care of themselves, their families, and even the other neighbors around them. Then I told you about the theme, that
Yes.
the theme is our nurses, our future, caring for the nurses strengthens the economy. What do I mean by that? The theme highlights the importance of nurses and how and why they should be taken care of. Because a healthy nurse can deliver properly in the hospital, can deliver well, can give optimal care to the neighbors around. Can even give optimal care by head talk to other sectors. It is not just the hospital, other sectors too can benefit from it. Because if you give a head talk, there is a crusade, you organize in the market, people partake in it, you'll be able to know what to do, get well, and when they are well, a healthy person can produce very well. There will be increased productivity, and when there's increased productivity, the economy will benefit. That is it. That is our theme for this year. We want to not just to take it to the nurses alone, we want to spread it across to every other person so that they can benefit. They can benefit. Once the nurses, we want to let them know that a nurse, nobody cares for the nurse. Nobody cares for the nurse. The people are supposed to know how to care for us and support us physically, mentally, and emotionally so that we can deliver properly.
Okay. Right. From Joy, do you have anything to say? And while you are that, how many week celebration are we looking at?
It's a youth celebration.
It's just one week.
Yes, just one. Like my comrade have rightly said now, that a nurse, nobody cares for a nurse. Yes, you can see a nurse working in an hospital single-handedly. This nurse goes round in the emergency ward, go to the male ward, go to the female ward, just a nurse trying to make sure that her patients are well taken care of. Her patient gets well as soon as possible. But you see that this particular nurse that is putting on all these efforts, once this nurse is down, nobody cares. Nobody wants to ask, where is this nurse that is doing all this? That is one of our thing, that our nurses should be considered in all aspects. They should be looked into. A nurse should give that, they should give them that privilege that, oh, you are not there. What is wrong with you? They should give them that attention. But in our society today, in our various hospitals, you see the nurse trying as much as possible to do all he or she can. But any little mistake, they don't want to know how far you have gone, how far you have done this work. So for this our team, we are begging and we are soliciting that nurses should be taken care of. We should be looked upon. We should be considered in so many things that the society are benefiting, because we put all our efforts in our work. For 24 hours, the nurses are always there for the patient bedside. They are always there, despite that in the hospital is a teamwork, but the nurses are always at the forefront. Whenever there is an outbreak, for instance, it's the nurses that it hits first. So we should be taken care of so that we will not have that regret effect on us or depression as it goes.
Okay. Yes, you know, before you came in my opening speech, when I was talking about national celebration, I actually did talk about International Nurses Day. Yes, some persons, like you rightly said, look down on nurses. Okay, they actually see the doctors as the
yes.
overall and God, the mini God, but they look down on nurses. But I would say that nurses, if you look at it very well, nurses are actually the one that takes care of these patients. The doctors just come in, they do their round, their checkup or their rounds, and they go. Sometimes you don't even find them in the offices. But anytime you get to a hospital, you must see at least a nurse there. And these nurses always come into the ward to check the patients, to know that, okay, make sure the patients are okay. Now, in doing all this now, how would you rate the patients? How would you rate the way the patients react to nurses? Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. The patient.
It's like you want to answer
You
that
wanted to
question.
answer that
You're
question.
going to do
Okay.
that.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
going to do that,
you-
but no, when you're done, she's going to do that because I want to
Okay.
get from different opinion. Yes.
Yes, the patient, like you rightly said, they believe more in the doctors. They feel that they are semi-god, forgetting that nurses are the backbone of the health sector. Without the nurses, there will be no hospital because the doctor comes and they go. But the patient, they respect them more. I don't know if it's because we stay with them 24 hours. The nurses are with them. You know, like the parable say, a prophet is not honored in his own place, in his own town. That is how they see us because we are always there with them. We sit with them, we eat with them, we talk with them, we try as much as possible to make them comfortable. So I feel they look down on us because they feel we are one, there is nothing special. Unlike our counterparts, the doctors. You know, when you want them to come and see, we call them. They come with their shoulder high, they see them and they leave. You know, because they are more valuable than we that are with them 24 hours. Yes, they are more valuable because they are scarce. You know, anything that is scarce, people value them, tend to value them more. Unlike the one you see, you can you can easily afford. That is how they look at us. They rate us. They look down on us. And when you perform something for them, instead of them to say thank you, and sometimes if you are doing something, they will be calling you doctor. Doctor, thank you, especially maybe during labor when they are delivering, you are the one doing this. You know, some people they will mistake. Instead of to say thank you, nurse, they will say thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor. But thank God that most of us will learn not to take other people's glory. We don't take it. We don't personalize. We take our own. We are nurses. We correct them. We are the nurses doing it. And when they want to, for example, gratification, they will bring it. They don't give us. They rather tell the doctor, thank you, sir, for what you, thank you. We are very grateful. But the nurses that did that, they've forgotten about it because I feel like I said, we are always with them 247. They see us as if these ones, they are not special. What is it? Anytime I want to see them, we always see them. That's what I believe. That is why they valued us. That's my opinion.
All right. Comrade, is that all?
She's-
Have to
she's
say?
the first
Thank
sign us,
you,
yes.
thank you. Yes,
Okay.
my comrade have said it all, because most times you be on call with a doctor, and this patient is being admitted. As the patient is coming in, see you as a nurse has already have that hatred, if I may say.
Hatred
Will I put it that
or
way?
resentment?
Or yes, okay, let's put it that way. That nurses are not always
Or
always
even the
there.
nurses don't know what
They
they
are
are doing.
yes, they are
Doctors know it
there is
better.
doctors that knows it better.
Because he's a doctor.
But because they are not always there with them. But we, the nurses that is always there with them 247, as they come in and they meet us, even while they are still staying in the hospital, we are still there with them. They don't have that regard. They believe that, okay, I'm saying that I'm having abdominal cramp. The nurses cannot do anything until we send for a doctor. When the doctor come now, he will just write.
Same thing that you would have written.
Yes, that I would have been able to write, so that I know that I would, but because my job description did not cover that aspect. I will have to send for the doctor. Then the doctor will come, just write and go people. Get the medication and administer to this patient. The patient gets well. He believed that, oh, if the doctor was not there, that means I would have died. Not knowing that you as a nurse can also do that same thing that the doctor has just done.
Okay. All right. So
Can
now
I
they
say
have
something, please?
Okay.
Thank God for the new technology. Thank God for nurses care plan that we do.
Nurses care
yes,
plan.
Nurses care plan. Yes.
Okay.
Nurses care plan. We can make our diagnosis. We diagnose. We know what is wrong with the patient. We assess the patient and we intervene.
Okay.
Yes, we do. We can, like in Federal Medical Center. I don't know what operates in the general hospitals, but in Federal Medical Center, when a patient complains, if it is something you can solve, you solve it first. While you are doing that, you send for the doctor. You don't just wait for the doctor to come before you attend to the patient. We do it. But why I feel they do not value us, because we are always with them 24 hours. If a nurse finish her shift,
International Nurses Day. All right. So now, let's talk about your resources now. Okay. In what ways has lack of adequate support, or resources, in what way has it affected the work of a nurse?
okay, thank you so much. When we don't have enough instruments, enough resources to work with, you are frustrated. Keep on running up and down, and if it's not there, we try to improvise. And by the time we improvise, when you improvise, it's not the same thing like what it is supposed to be. The outcome is not always 100%. But if the resources are there, you have everything to work with. The outcome is always 100%. It's very good. But when they are not there, because if you go to some hospitals, majority of the things you are supposed to use as nurses to work, they are not there. You improvise. I went to a place, one of the hospital. They were looking for oxygen. They were running up and down. Oxygen, yes. They were running up and down, running from one ward to another, looking for oxygen. And what do you expect? They are not magicians. They cannot do anything. That patient at that particular time needed oxygen, and it was not available. They started doing cardiac massage, and this is what the patient needs, but it wasn't available. They went through, and at the end of the day, it was not there. Yes, it wasn't there. If these things are provided, like social mentioned, when there is obstruction, you want to suction the patient, and it is there, you suction the patient gets well, recover fast. But if it is not there, there is nothing you can do about it. You just watch the patient gradually dies, which is not supposed to be. We are not killers. We are supposed to be the one to help a patient, help the society to recover. But when the things are not there, there's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes we try as much as possible to use our mouth to mouth, but how far does it go? If you want to suction, when you want to give air, you use mouth to mouth. You look for something to cover. With the era of HIV and the other thing, viral infection that you can easily contact, we look at those things, and if it is something you wanted to do, you are constrained because it's not right. You don't want to get infected. You start looking for something to cover and give mouth-to-mouth oxygen. How many oxygen will the person get that will really survive that patient at that particular time? So when we are doing restraint, the outcome is terrible. But when those things are provided, you see everybody happy, and the economy too. The public will benefit.
Okay. So
Yes.
okay. So the nurses have said it that they really don't like how you look down on them. They want you to see them as part of your your recovery process, not just the doctors. So give it to nurses when you go to the hospital, because if they are not there, before you wait for a doctor to come, something may have gone wrong. So let's give it up for the nurses. And I know you have a slogan. Let's hear your slogan.
Great nurses,
Grace.
Okay.
great nurses,
nurses
The hands
that
that
cares.
Okay.
Yes.
Great nurses, the hands
That
that
cares.
care.
Yes.
All right, so you've heard it. Now,
Nurses
nurse-
are great, no controversy.
Okay, nurses are great, no controversy.
Controversy, yes.
Wow, that's beautiful.
We are supposed to be the hero.
The hero.
the
Of course, you
healthcare
are the
system.
hero. You are the hero. Before the doctor arrives, you are the hero. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, Comrade Joy, apart from the financial problem and the, what other challenges do nurses face in the health sector? Apart from what you talked about, the resources. Yeah, what other challenges?
Okay. There is also this insecurity in nursing. You know, for instance, a patient and accident victim is just being rushed in. They expected you to do a magic to get their relative
Okay.
back to feet. So you see some of them, they start molesting the nurses, they start harassing them, assaulting them in different areas. Even while the nurses are trying all their best, all their possible best to make sure that this patient, nothing happened to this patient. You know, although I don't blame them as such, you can't watch your relative going and fold your hands. Even the nurses, once they bring them into the hospital, they don't fold their hands as well. Like my chief rightly said, there are some hospitals that don't have so many materials to work with. Like all these accident cases that they bring in some hospitals where there is no oxygen and this patient really actually needed this oxygen. If the nurses is there now running up and down, the patient relative feels that this nurses does not even know what is doing. Why? Because the material this nurse needed is not there for her to carry her work.
Okay. All right.
And another thing,
Yes.
we are understaffed.
Oh.
Shortage, gross shortage of nurses. And it's not for a nurse to be in 3 wards at the same time. Or you see 2 nurses in a hospital as a whole, running from one hospital. How can they deliver? Yes, from one ward to another. And there are patients in the ward. We need
More hands.
employment. We need more hands. We need more hands. How can a whole hospital, you are saying 9 nurses in a hospital?
Have you
It is not
complained
done.
this to
Yes,
the medical
yes.
director?
Yes.
But so what
We have
have
even
they done?
complained to the state. They have been employing. But and another thing, this exodus of nurses leaving the country.
We'll get there.
Yes.
We will get there.
Okay. That one is another problem. When they leave, the few ones will not be able to deliver optimal care to the patients. And it's really affecting us. It is causing burnout. Yes. It's another
Alright, so
challenge.
Okay. So let's look at the nurses now. Because I know sometimes people complain that nurses actually talk down on them, especially pregnant women. They tell you, oh, this nurse is not good, this nurse is wicked, and stuff like that. While some are really good, in fact, when the babies are born, the parents actually do come back to gift these nurses. Now, let's look at training. It has to do with training the nurses. What policies are currently in place to support and retrain nurses in the healthcare workforce, to let them know the true meaning of a nurse and what you're expected to do?
Okay. In our training, we are trained. I believe it is individual, not the profession.
Okay.
Yes. And sometimes this thing you hear is a lie. Oh. It does not happen. Majority doesn't happen. I wouldn't say it's completely wrong. There are some people, it has to do with self. It has to do with passion for the profession. If you have passion for the profession, you will stick your head. You will make sacrifice to make sure the patient gets the best. But if you don't have passion, some people come into the profession because of money, some come in because they want to travel out. There are people that nursing is we are called to be. It's an art. It's a science. We are called. You must have passion for it, for the profession, so that you'll be able to deliver. And there is this policy that nurses have to be trained and retrained. And I know they do it in some hospitals, but majorly some, because of finances, they don't do it. They don't consider it. And it's something that is supposed to be. They are supposed to retrain and retrain so that you'll be abreast with the new trends. If you are an old nurse, what you were taught in those days is different from what we are teaching students these days. Like I talk about the care plan. It was, we were not taught when we were in school. It was training and retraining, because I like going further to equip myself so that when I see challenges, I'll be able to face it. But some people are not like that. They're after the money. Oh, I want to make money fast. I want to travel out. That is why I am in the profession. And those kind of people will not be able to deliver very well. They will not be able to deliver optimally. You know, those are the kind of people that talk down on some, because they are not actually called into the profession. When you are called into the profession, you are not looking at the money per se. Your goal is to how to make this patient very comfortable, how to make this patient recover from this challenge that this patient is facing. Yes. But the training aspect of it, but unfortunately, most of us, we are not being trained in our hospitals. It is the responsibility of the government that employ you to train and retrain. Yes. Few of us, we try as much as possible to do it on our own. When we see workshop, you want to go further. Majority of the nurses now in Delta State, they have their first degree, they have their second degree, and some are pursuing their PhDs. They want to be abreast with what is happening.
They want to equip themselves.
Yes.
Okay. So, Nurse Joy, you want to say something?
Okay, like that, will I call it misconception?
Okay.
Yes, because most times you see our patients, mostly in this our region, they have that misconception of it. For instance, like you give an example of in a maternity or a labor room, there is no nurse that will be happy that the patient is coming in. A full-term pregnant woman is coming in. At the end of the day, going back without her baby. The nurse in quote for 1 week will not be herself. So we try as much as possible to make sure that adequate care is given to that particular set of people. We don't neglect them. Like my comrade have rightly said that many people will always want to run the nurses down. But I am telling the public today that there is no nurse that is managing a pregnant woman and wants that pregnant woman or the baby in utero to not to come out alive. So anything you see that the nurse is doing is for the betterment of that pregnancy, that fetus inside, and the mother. So, for instance, they say they bully them. There is no nurse, not this era any longer. Maybe it has happened in the past, but for now, we believe that everybody has their rights, and they know their rights. So you don't want to go to that contrary. You try as much as possible to give your adequate care to that pregnant woman and make sure that the baby comes alive and the mother is alive. So,
Okay.
Or maybe she's referring to when a woman is pushing, it's time for the woman to push out the baby, and you are telling the patient to push. Some patients, they will rather close their leg. They will tell you because it is painful, we cannot push. And in that instance, when the nurse knows that the baby has to come out alive, the mother has to be well. What do you expect the nurse to do? Is to tell the woman, oh, you shout, open your leg and push. Maybe that is what they consider as bullying.
as bullying,
As bullying. Because you
Yeah.
must. Like I tell
because
when I was
you know the implication
Implication
of
of it,
that
yes.
second stage of labor.
Yes.
The head of the baby is there, and this woman is closing her
her leg.
Mostly those first timers. Yes. You see them closing their leg. Madam, open your leg. Look at your baby's head. In most cases, we go to the extent of taking their hand. Madam, touch your.
Yes.
Are you feeling your baby there? If you leave this baby in the next 5-10 minutes, it will suffocate. Please push out your baby. They feel that this nurse is shouting.
And knowing fully well that if a woman dies in labor, there is an implication.
Mm.
Yes, the woman dies in labor. There's an implication. If you go to FMC, no woman, we tried as much as possible not to allow a woman to die in labor. We don't allow it. So you will try every possible way to make sure that baby comes out alive and the mother alive. You know, but is within 6 weeks. The mother must be okay within that period. It is your responsibility for a woman to come to the hospital to book. That means she has entered into contract with you. That the hospital must take care of me, and I will cooperate with the hospital. It's an agreement. Yes.
Okay. All right. So when we were talking about nurses' welfare and the rest, you talked about some nurses that have jackpot.
Yes. So
They have left the shores. They've left the shores of this
For a
country
greener
for
pastures.
greener
Yes, so-
pastures.
yes,
Now,
so-
are there plans to improve the working conditions and payment of these nurses in the nearest future? Because we all know that it's because of what they are getting out
Yes, so-
there. That is why they moved. So what are the plans now?
We have been talking, our people have been talking, the national presidents and this ESCO, they have been discussing with the federal government to improve on our work there and the salary. They promised and we are still waiting. If not because of the embargo on it, some of us would have long gone. Yes, because there's nobody that does not like money.
Is there an embargo now?
Yes, because of the red list country. Nigeria has been listed among the red list, yes,
Okay,
country.
okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes, yes. And another thing, we have one not to even leave the country. As far as the EC1, there is a number of years they are expected to work before they think of even leaving the country. Unlike before, when they just graduate, they do their internship, they move. Now they are expected to work for 2 years, a minimum of 2 years before they leave, before they can be verified. Yes.
So with that, it's slowing
Are
down.
It's
they
slowing down.
adhering to it?
They are.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes,
With
they
that
can
now,
do-
it's slowing down.
slowing
Most
down.
of them not to
Not
jackpot.
to- yes. Yes. And that is what is actually causing the shortage of nurses.
Okay.
They are actually employing, in Delta State, they are employing, but because people are leaving and people are retiring, they cannot fill that space.
Okay. So before I let you go now, what can communities do to better appreciate and support their local nurses? Because when you were talking about they don't appreciate us, I saw the pain, I know it's really bitter. So what do you think that communities can do to better appreciate nurses in their local vicinity, hospitals?
Okay, I think there should be awareness, yes. There should be an awareness. They should know our works. They should know that we are the backbone of EdSet. They should know that we are the heroes. Without us, there will be no hospital. They should be trained. Yes, we should go. There should be mass media telling them about the worth of nurses. Yes, should be. And on the other hand, so they think in our training, we should be told how to sensitize people and let them know, because if a nurse, when a patient comes, you give that patient, you treat that patient as your family. You treat the patient as your family. The patient will value you. But because so many people are angry that patient does not value us, you just do what you are expected to do. You do it and let them live. But if you are told that you take patients as your own, you do it the way you are supposed to be trained, you are supposed to be nursed rather, you nurse them like that, and you are friends to them, because nurses are supposed to be advocates. Yes, you are supposed to be friends to the patient. You actually do that to the patient, they will value you.
Nurse Joy. Okay.
Like we said now, the community, I think now, they are, from my own perspective, some of them have started knowing that, yes, the nurses are actually the forefront of the healthcare workers. because they are always there for us whenever we need them. Some of them will still go that far to appreciate you that yes, we are seeing the good work that you are doing. But you know, we cannot call all the eggs bad. Some of them are still not satisfied. Maybe because of one encounter or the other, they just capitalize on that. So what I'm just telling the society is that they should not, whatever they passed through in the past, it should be of the past, because this generation will believe on scientific now. Things are going in a different dimension, so they should know that our work way now is different, that we are there for them. It's because of them. In the morning I will take my bath and go to work. It's because of my patients. So when I get there, I should be able to give them what they need.
It's evidence-based. Yes.
All right. So finally, as we celebrate the International Nurses Day today, what are we expected to do concerning our health?
Concerning your health.
Yes, our health.
Are we talking about here?
Generally.
Yes.
Yes. We're celebrating International Nurses Day, and you care for our health. So just tell us what we have to do concerning our health.
Okay. You should maintain your personal hygiene. Take your bath. Know what you are supposed to eat. You eat. Then go for checkup. Most people, they don't go for checkup. I can count so many people that have not checked their BP, blood pressure for years. Do that. Check your BP. Do this minor examination, fasting blood sugar, all those things to know your state. If you do that, then for the women, mammogram, go for test. Know how you are from 40-45 years. We are prone to it. A childbearing woman, you should do it at least once in a year. Go and check to know, because cancer is one of the killer diseases in this. Yes, a very fast one. It kills faster than even diabetes and hypertension. If you check, then the men too, they should go and check their prostate, what they call that. Yes, they should go and do it regular. Let them go and check, because it's one of the killer diseases. Let them check themselves generally.
Okay.
So as we celebrate our International Nurses Week, I encourage my societal people in Nigeria in general to go out and examine themselves. They should not just sit back there and believe that they are okay. There are some ailments that does not come out so fast until almost at the chronic stage. So I encourage them to always go for their BP check, their sugar check, their hearts. They should go for hospital whenever they are sick. They should not just go from one pharmacy to another to get drugs. Let them go to the hospital and they will be properly diagnosed.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Like this one they call mixture.
Okay.
Just mix drug for me.
Okay.
Or their self-medication. They know what to do.
Yeah.
When they have malaria, they will go and buy malaria medicine and take. They should avoid it.
Alright.
Sometimes when they feel symptoms of malaria, it may not be malaria. It could be that their sugar level is very high. It could even be typhoid. So there are other things that those symptoms can affect.
All right, thank you so much. You have heard it all from our comrade nurses. Do not self-medicate, and also learn to appreciate your nurses. We have been talking about our nurses, our future. Caring for nurses strengthens economy as we celebrate the International Nurses Day. I want to say a very big thank you to Comrade Nurse Vito Wanu Patience Emidia, the State Financial Secretary and National Association of Nurses and Midwives. Thank you so much for coming, ma'am. And also Comrade Nurse Okonkwo Joy, the unit chairman, Open General Hospital. Thank you so much for coming. I wish you a wonderful celebration today.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so that's it on the Nurses Day. We'll go on a very quick break and we'll return to time for our next sport. Stay with us.